Hi. I see a lot of talk on the internet about how to find your own art style, like tutorials or like advice or whatever. It's something that everybody seems to be very concerned about. Like I guess for marketability or whatever. TLDR, it's gonna take like a while. It's not a linear process. A lot of it is just sort of trial and error. I know that's not what you're gonna want to hear, but what happened with me anyway is over time, you draw, you take inspiration from people, you start finding artists that you really like specifically, that you feel drawn towards for some reason. Like, oh, why do I like this specific artist? Well, something about the way they draw clothing I really, really like. Or this other artist, I really like the way they draw hair. This artist, I like how they draw eyes, I like how they draw cats, I like how they draw buildings, whatever. And then over time you kind of start assimilating those little traits into your own art style. You take the way that person draws eyes and you're like, I think I want to do that, and then you kind of start emulating their eyes, and then with your own hand it melds into your unique style. All of these little bits and pieces from other artists meld into your style. Like, it does take a long time to do that, and it will always be changing, right? Because you're always going to be finding new artists and finding new eyes and new hair and new trees and new clothing that you really resonate with. And it's not the same thing as art style theft. I know a lot of people will talk about art style theft and how it's like not a real thing, and I'm on the fence about that, because I have been in a situation before where like it was an online stalking situation where somebody was copying my style, my original characters, my original comic, my persona. Like, they would draw themselves to look like me, and then like even in real life cut and dye their hair to look like me and get tattoos of symbols that people associated with me. Like, it was a whole thing. I had to go to therapy because of it. It really affected the way that I post my own art on the internet. So, art style theft can be real when it's done to that extent. But theft and inspiration are not the same thing. It is 100% okay to take inspiration from people, to take bits and pieces. It's not art style theft if you say, I really like that person's art and I wish my art looked a little bit more like theirs, and then you do that. As long as you're being original, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But your art is always going to be growing and changing, and depending on what tools or online brushes or whatever that you use, things might come out differently. Sometimes even finding the right brush will make your art style grow. I stagnated for a while, like a few years ago, and it was due to a lot of reasons, but one of the things that made me get better was I bought a new art program, Clip Studio Paint, and there was a specific brush in there that I really resonated with that was just so different from any of the brushes that my old program, Paint Tool Sci, had. And I had been using Paint Tool Sci for like 10 years, and at that point in my life it was time for an upgrade, and it really helped. But yeah, art style is such a broad thing. You don't need to strive for an art style that's recognizable or anything. I mean, it's great, yeah. Drawing is really fun, so you want to make it as fun for yourself as possible. Still respect other people, but taking inspiration is not disrespectful. It's totally fine. Everybody does it. You're probably safe. I hope this helped at least one person, and yeah, happy drawing. Go be the artist that you were always meant to be.